Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to another video. In today's video, we are going to discuss about another good quality that we all need to practice in our life, but we often forget this to practice. Now, what is this? It is called mudita. In another word, it is called appreciative joyfulness. What do you mean by this mudita? Mudita is the ability of being happy when you see someone else's happiness. For an example, let's say you're on social media and in the same time you're having a bad day. Now, when you scroll down, you see these nice pictures of people enjoying their life, living the best days in their life, being happy, and you're not having that life currently. In that case, what do you feel? The first thing that we feel is we feel down about ourselves. We think like, my life is terrible. My life is worse. Okay. And the next step is, for some people, they feel a little bit of angry about those people. And that is called envy. Okay. So the Buddha teaches us to practice mudita to avoid jealousy in your mind or avoid envy in your mind. Okay, so how to do that? This is a very simple practice, but to get used to it is very, very difficult, because for a long period of time, we have practiced this envy in our mind. Okay, you know, the nature of mind is the more we practice something for a long time, it gets normal. Okay, it gets easier. That is why we are so good at these evil things like, being angry. Okay, being jealous, being distracted, okay, and being envious on others. That is why we are so good at those things. The Buddha teaches us to practice as a daily practice this practice of mudita, being happy on other people's happiness. Okay, let's say now you're seeing someone who is better than you. Okay, more successful than you, more pretty than you, more clever than you. Let's say you're seeing someone like that. The first thing that you have to do is you have to wish the well-being of them, right? Think like, may they be successful even more. May they be happy even more in their life. You have to wish this from the bottom of your heart. You have to mean it and you have to feel it. Okay, when you do that, you feel happy. Okay, you don't feel the discomfort of envy. And also, in the same time, when you generate these mudita, thoughts of mudita, you generate a huge power in your mind to heal your mind and to be successful in your personal life. Okay, that is the power of mudita. Being jealousy, being envy on someone's life will never help you to be successful. Okay, will never get you anywhere. One of the things that my teacher has taught me in my life is that don't be jealousy on someone's life, because jealousy will never help you to be successful. Okay, jealousy will never help you to thrive and be more productive. And it will keep you in the same place, okay, without being successful, keep you in the same place, and it lets you to be angry on other people. So what we have to do, whenever we see some people who are better than us, we have to think that may they be better than us even more. Okay, may they be happy in their life even more. And that is called mudita. Okay, you can do, and you can start this practice from the people who are around you. Okay, there are people around you in your home, in your family. Start from them. Okay, wish the well-being of people around you. Okay, wish the well-being of your neighbors, your people who are in your city, your classroom, your school, your country. Okay, if you can spread those thoughts of mudita, you try and say this, you will feel much better in your heart. Okay, even when you feel down, and even when you are in your bad days in your life, you can be happy about your life, because you are not comparing your life to other people. The reason why we feel jealousy and envy in our mind is we are constantly comparing our life to other people's life. We are so good at that. The more we compare our life to other people's life, the more we feel down about our personal life. Okay? So this is not something that we have to do. Okay? Instead of harboring jealousy and envy in our mind, the Buddha teaches us practice the thoughts of mudita. Be happy on seeing other people's happiness. When you practice this, you will feel a big difference in your mind. Okay? And you will feel a big success in your personal life. So remember, mudita is the best medicine for the envy and jealousy in our mind. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to another video. Now, you probably heard about this Buddhist statement and Buddhist saying that says, nothing is permanent in this life and everything is subjected to change. Now, this is one of the core and main teachings in Buddhism, and in Pali language, we call it anicca. Anicca can be literally translated as impermanence or subjecting for something to be changed. Okay, so what did really Buddha taught about anicca or impermanence? Let's take a look at it. Now, when we talk about impermanence, now everything that is around us, that we can see, that we can hear, that we can feel, has one nature in common, and that is it is subjected to change. That is one nature that is shared with all the things that are around us. Okay, from the smallest atom to the biggest thing in this world, everything is subjected to change and everything is ever changing. There is nothing stable in life. Now, normally when we look at, now it seems like very easily recognizable phenomena and a process, but let's say like this, for an example. Now, there's a cup here, all right? Now, if I ask from you, how does this cup become impermanence? How do you answer? Oh, then you can say, oh, this falls down. When it shatters, it becomes impermanent, okay? That is one way of understanding and one way of recognizing what is impermanent. Now, what Buddha meant about anicca or impermanence is a way more subtler impermanence than what we talk about, okay? Now, the Buddha said, your feelings and your thoughts and your perception and your weave towards this cup becomes impermanent and it is ever changing. Now, that impermanence happens now, right? For an example, like let's say now you can say this is stable, okay? This is not changing. This is not shattered. It stays. But our thoughts and our feelings and our perceptions are ever changing right now, right here. So to understand that kind of impermanent is way more subtler and it is very, very difficult. And that is why we need the meditation practice and spiritual practice to understand this. So how can we recognize and how can we realize this nature of impermanence? Now, the Buddha said the first step is to slow down and to be calm. The Buddha said you cannot comprehend and you cannot realize this kind of impermanence through a distracted mind. When your mind is distracted, it is very difficult to focus on this impermanence. And that is why the Buddha introduced samatha meditation or calming meditations to calm down your mind. And in the same time, we have to practice the wisdom through learning the Buddha's teachings and through wisely reflecting on the reality to bring up the wisdom that is within us. When the calmness and the peacefulness and concentration paired with wisdom, the Buddha said that you can reach and you can identify and realize this kind of impermanence. So what Buddha meant by anicca is a way more subtler and way more deeper meaning than the normal and superficial meaning of impermanence. So that is what Buddha meant. So that is what we have to practice to realize and to see in Buddha's teachings. So I hope you got some idea about what anicca is. So add this into your life and try to realize this anicca by practicing meditation and by realizing the true nature of your life. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to today's video. Today, I want to share with you some meditation tips and some mindsets that we should develop while we're sitting to meditation. Now, one of the most difficult things when we are doing meditation is to keep going the meditation. That means to do it every single day. Okay. It is very easy to start meditating. It is very easy to start a session of meditation, but it's very, very difficult to maintain it continuously, to do it every single day. Okay. These are the problems that most of the time many meditators struggle with. They say, like, okay, I cannot meditate every day. Maybe I don't enjoy sometimes doing it. So there are some mindsets that you should practice and you should develop before sitting to the meditation to keep it going. So from this video, we are going to discuss about it. So without any further ado, let's dive in. The first mindset that you should develop when sitting to the meditation is to have less expectations. I know that when we are sitting to meditation, we all like to have a mind of concentration and calmness and peacefulness. But it does not come overnight. It does not come in one practice or one take. It takes a long time for our mind to get into that level. So think of your mind like a baby who is learning to walk. So give yourself a good time and sit down to the meditation with very less expectations. And then you can expect maybe like 0.01% progress from one session of meditation. And just be calm and be patient to and let your mind to be in the progress. Okay, so that is how that you can keep on doing the meditation. Then you can enjoy the meditation, because when we have big expectations and when our minds cannot live up to that expectation, then you will never be able to enjoy doing meditation, because your mind is not becoming what you have expected. So sit to the meditation with very less expectations. The second mindset that we all have to develop while sitting to the meditation is to take a good time. Now, one of the advices that we have given while meditating and when we are sitting to the meditation is to think of yourself like you have time forever. So when you have those other plans in your mind, it's really difficult to meditate. And that is why it is much better to set a timer to meditate. And during that time, you can be fully relaxed and think like, I don't have anything to do but just to meditate, but just to focus on my breath, or just to be aware and mindful about my body and my mind. And when you do that, it creates a peaceful and a comfortable environment for you to meditate. So, as a second tip, take a good time and take good free time to meditate. The third mindset that we have to develop is to let it come and let it go. Now, what do you mean by this? Now, sometimes when we meditate, it is not always possible to be concentrated and to be focused. Sometimes your mind becomes distracted by some other thoughts. But I would say, as long as you're mindful and if you're aware of your thoughts, let it come. Okay? And observe it. Don't go behind it. Don't try to chase behind it. Just observe that it is a thought. Observe and identify it as a thought, and then just let it go. Okay? It's something like this. It's not as easy as you think, but if you keep on doing it and if you try to do it, you will be good at it. It is something like this. It's like you're watching a traffic pass by. Okay? You're sitting beside the road and you're watching a traffic pass by. There are vehicles and there are vans and bicycles and buses you pass by. You are not trying to stop these vehicles. You're not trying to chase behind these vehicles. Just you sit by the road and just watch it. Okay? So we don't want to force our mind, or we don't want to force our thoughts to stop it or do anything kind of like that. The best thing is to observe it. Okay? Let it come and observe and identify it as just it is a thought and let it pass away. Okay? When you do that, it's very easy for you to keep on doing meditation, because sometimes when distracting thoughts or distracting sounds, and like people, when you hear certain sounds and thoughts, when you feel those things, you try to fight with it. Okay, you try to struggle with it, and you think, oh, this is a distraction. Okay, as long as you focus on the distraction, and as long as you focus and you think like it is a trouble, it will always be a trouble. So that is why you should let your distracting thoughts come and identify it. Don't be panicked, just let it go. Okay, that is one way to be, and that is one way to practice meditation very peacefully and happily. And last but not least, the final practice and final mindset that we have to maintain during meditation is to be gentle with yourself. Like I said before, think yourself like a little babies. When we all step into meditation, we all are like babies, little babies who are learning how to walk. Okay, so think of a baby. We are not forcing the baby to walk. Okay, we're not forcing him, or we are not telling him to walk by force. Just we let them to walk. Okay, we take a good time and we be gentle with them. Okay, we guide them, but we let them walk, not we force them walk. Okay, so it is much better to be gentle with yourself. Sometimes you may not feel, or you may not see any progress while doing meditation, but as long as you keep on doing it, as long as you enjoy doing it every day, trust me, it will make a big progress in your life. So be gentle with yourself while meditating. So these are few mindsets and few things that we all have to develop while doing meditations. So add these mindsets to your meditation and enjoy a happy and a peaceful meditation. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to today's video. Today, I want to share with you how can we deal with accusations in life. Now, there are two types of accusations. The first one is the true accusation, and the second one is the false accusation. Now, no matter how good we are, no matter how better in life we are, mistakes can happen and people can accuse us. So how can we deal with this? Now, in Buddhism, it teaches you when you have been accused in any kind of way, whether it is a true accusation, whether it is a false accusation, you have to establish two qualities in your mind. Okay, what are these two qualities? In Buddhism, it teaches you have to establish the truthfulness in your mind. Okay, you have to be truthful. The second one is you have to be kind at that time. You have to establish the love and kindness at that time. Now, why should we practice and why should we establish these two qualities? Most of the time, when we have been falsely accused, okay, when we have been falsely accused, one of the things that we lose is our kindness and our patience. We become panicked and we try to prove ourselves that we are not wrong, we are right, and we use anger and we use that rudeness to prove ourselves that we are right. But when you become so much panicked, and whenever you use your anger and hate to prove yourself right, it's very unproductive and it becomes very unsuccessful in proving that, because most of the time people will never listen to you when you are angry, and people will never listen to you when they are angry as well. So that is why in Buddhism it teaches you, first thing, that one of the best things that you can do is to be kind and to be patient when you are being accused. And the second quality is to establish your mind in truthfulness. Now, what do you mean by that? Let's say you've been accused for a mistake that you have done. Okay. Sometimes we don't like to accept that we have done a mistake. Okay. So at that time we lie and we say like, no, we didn't do that. I didn't do that. But in Buddhism, it teaches you, if you have done a mistake, just accept it and make it correct. Try to correct yourself. Okay. And if you have not done it, you have to clearly say, and patiently with kindness and compassion, you have to clearly say that I didn't do it. Okay. So in that way, you have to establish the truthfulness in your mind. These are the two qualities that we have to practice and you have to develop when we have been accused in any kind of way. So when we add these wonderful two qualities to your life, you try this and see the difference that you get from the accusations. When you accept the mistake that you have done, you gain the trust of the people around you. Okay, so it is very important to practice these simple two qualities in your life. Practice these things and be happy. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. I need to ask a question from you. Do you really exist? Now, have you ever thought of this question? This sounds like a funny question, right? Do you really exist? And do I really exist? Now, this was a question that was asked from the Buddha on point, but the Buddha refused to give any answer to this question. Buddha kept silent to this question. The reason why the Buddha kept silent was not because he did not know about anything about this, but the Buddha said that by answering these kind of questions will lead to a lot of wrong views. It will lead to a lot of problems. Okay. Now, for an example, if one said like, okay, I do not exist or you do not exist, then there will be many questions and many problems. Then it will lead to many problems like, okay, if I do not exist, then who is the person who is experiencing all those karma? And who is the person who is being reborn? Okay. And also, if I don't really exist, what's the point of doing good and bad things? Right? There's no point of doing good and there's no point of doing bad. Okay. And there's no point of becoming kind to people. And there's no point of helping people. So it will lead to many problems and many ethical dilemmas by answering these kinds of questions. And that is why the Buddha refused to give answers on point and directly to these kind of questions. But the Buddha explained that who you are, okay? That's what Buddha focused on. So the Buddha said that by answering these kinds of questions, by saying that you don't exist, you falls into one extreme, and that is called nihilism or complete annihilation. Now, one of the complaints that Buddha got in his time was the people complained him that he was a complete annihilator. So, okay, he annihilates people by letting them into the nibbana. So people considered nibbana as a complete annihilation. But it is not a complete annihilation. The Buddha said that when you say that you don't exist, it falls under one extreme, and that is called nihilism, which was known as Ucheda. And if you say that you exist, then it falls into the other extreme, and that is called the Sashvata or the eternalism. What Buddha teaches you is what the Buddha says that my teachings lies in the middle. I teach you the middle way. What is the middle way? To find what you consider as who you are or true self, okay, and realize the nature of it. The Buddha did not say that you don't exist. The Buddha did not say that you exist. The Buddha said what one consider as self or I is subjected to change. Right? Now, what we consider as we consider as I is our eyes, our ears, our nose, our tongue, our body, and our mind. Okay, this is whom we call I. And also, what are the things that we consider as ours? The things that we see, the things that we hear, the things that we smell, and the things that we taste, and the things that we physically feel, and the things that we think. So all those things together we called as I or my things, okay, myself. So the Buddha said, just take a look at to these things, what you call self, and understand that all the things that you consider as yourself is subjected to change. It is ever changing. For an example, our eyes and our ears, nose, tongue, body, mind is ever changing, right? What we see in this world, what we experience in this world is subjected to change. Right here, right now, it is changing. So the Buddha said, what you consider as I or myself or mine is subjected to change. Then the Buddha said, if something is subjected to change, and that is suffering, okay, that leads to suffering. For an example, let's say we are having a good time and we are having good experiences and good feelings and happy feelings. So what we like to do, we like to feel, we like for them to be permanent. Okay, we like to feel good forever. But it is subjected to change. Okay, it is changing. And when it is changing, we suffer. And let's say we are having a bad experience or difficult experience. Then with what we think is, okay, this pain, this suffering is going to last forever. But it is also subjected to change. So that is why the Buddha said, what you consider as you is subjected to change. And if something is subjected to change, it is suffering. And then Buddha said, if something is suffering, should it be considered as mine or I or myself? Turns out it is not. Why? Because if something is suffering, we should not consider it as ourselves. We don't like to consider it as ourselves because as human beings, okay, as beings, we all like to be happy, not to suffer. Okay? And that is why the Buddha said, Buddha did not say that you do not exist. The Buddha did not say that you exist. The Buddha said, what you consider as yourself, what you consider as I, is subjected to change and it is suffering. And then, as it is suffering, it should not be considered as self. Now, this whole concept is called anatta in Buddhism. Anatta, the word anatta is oftenly translated as no self. But rather, when you take this word no self, right, it gives the meaning that you don't exist. That is why many people say, okay, the Buddha said that you don't exist. No, Buddha did not say that you do not exist. The Buddha said what you considered as I or you is not yourself. Okay, it should not be considered as yourself. And that is what the concept of anatta. Rather than saying no self, it's much better to say that it is not self. And this is the whole idea behind the concept of anatta in Buddhism. So I hope you learned something new today. I wish you all, may all of you be happy and healthy. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome everyone to another video. Hope you're having a great day. Today I'm at the viewpoint of our monastery. It's a nice view out here. So in this video, let's talk about the gratefulness and the gratitude. Now, this is one of the major qualities that we practice in Buddhism. Okay, Buddha considered the gratitude and the gratefulness as the mother of all the good qualities. In Mahamangala Sutta, the Buddha says, having a grateful mind is a blessing for your life. Okay, so how can we practice this gratitude? And what is the meaning of gratitude? Now, the word that is given to gratitude, given for the gratitude in Buddhism is called katanyuta. Katanyuta means the ability to remember what one have done to you. That means the helps that have done to you. If you can remember the people and the helps that you have given, okay, people have done to you, then that is called the gratitude. So how can we practice this? Well, you can be grateful and you can be thankful for almost everything in your life. For an example, let's say you wake up in the morning, and then what you can do is you can be grateful for your life, okay? For waking up in the morning, for breathing, and for having a life. Because most of the times, like so many people last night, they could not wake up in the morning, okay? So we can be grateful for our life. And then if, let's say, you take your food plate to your hand, you can practice gratitude in there. How? You can be grateful for the people who made that food. Maybe your wife, maybe your husband, maybe someone who helped you, okay? So you can be grateful for them. You can say that, thank you. Okay, genuinely you can say that, thank you. I'm grateful for you, okay? Because of you people, I live happily and I live in comfort in my life. When you do that, you practice that mind of gratitude in your life. Okay. And also, there are so many things that you can be grateful for. Okay. Let's say you're using a computer, right? You can be grateful for your computer because it makes your life so much easier. You can be grateful for the people who made that computer. Okay. And also, let's say you're walking down a street, okay, and you're walking down a nice lane, and then you can be grateful for the people who made the road. Okay, you can be grateful for the nature that you're around. Here's the thing, you can be grateful for everything in your life, because sometimes it is difficult for us to be happy with our life. Okay, because when we go through tough times, when we hit the problems in our life, we start to think like, my life is not valuable. Okay, my life is worthless, and there's nothing to be happy about my life. But if you really think about it, if you really consider about it, there are thousands and thousands of things that we can be happy about and we can be thankful for. Okay, so that is what you call the Buddhist positive thinking. Okay, but they consider this as the blessing for your life. And also, the Buddha said in Mahamangala Sutta, Buddha mentions that santutti and katanyuta is a blessing for your life. Santutti means being happy with what you have, and katanyuta means being grateful for what you have. These two qualities are a blessing for your life. It makes your life so much fulfilled and so much happier. Okay, so in every morning, okay, in every morning, take a little time to practice this gratitude in your life. Okay, wake up in the morning and say that I am thankful for my life. Okay, I am thankful for the people who lived around me, who helped me. Okay, who was there with me in my life in the hardest times. And also, in the same time, we can be happy about the tough times and bad people in our life too. Okay, so many people don't think about this, because we become grateful for the only for the good people and the good situations in our life. No, we can be grateful for the bad people and difficult situations in our life. How can we do that? Well, because of the bad people and because of the bad situations and tough situations in our life became so much interesting, right? Imagine if your life became all the things, like you got all the things you wanted, okay? And there were all the people who were good and nice to you, okay? You didn't face any tough situations in your life. There's nothing more interesting, nothing much interesting about your life. But because of the bad people and because of the tough situations and the bad days in our life became so much interesting, no? Because there's a story for us to tell. Okay? There is an interesting story for us to tell. That is why the more we face tough situations, our life becomes so much interesting. So we can be thankful for the bad people and say, like, thank you for giving me tough times. Thank you for bringing me the giving me the ability and giving me the ability to practice the patience and love and kindness and compassion for you because of you people. In that way, you see, if you think about it, you can be grateful for every situation and everything in your life. So every single day when you wake up in the morning, take a little moment to say thank you for everything and every people and every person in your life. So keep that in your mind and practice this wonderful quality of gratitude. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to another video. Now, a couple of days ago, I met this young gentleman, and he was in his 30s. He was very young, and he said that he has been practicing spirituality, meditation, and Buddhism for a long period of time, more than 4 years. And he said, all of a sudden, unfortunately, his parents died because of a car crash. And with that incident, none of his spiritual practices and meditations and what he have learned about the spirituality and Buddhism, none of them worked. And he started to grieve and suffer, and the pain, he could not handle it. So he asked from me,
How can I handle this grief, and how can I handle this losing loved ones? So here's the thing. It is very difficult. I know it is very difficult to handle this situation because losing loved ones is one of the most difficult things and most difficult pains that we have to go through in all of our lives. Okay. The Buddha said that this is one of the truths in our life. We all have to face, no matter where we are born, no matter who we all have to go through this situation. Either we are going to lose our loved ones, or they are going to lose us. Okay, this is the truth in our life. But how can we handle the pain when we go through these tough times? It is all about practice. And it is and also remember, no matter how much you practice the spirituality, and no matter how much you practice these meditations, all of us, all the things about the spirituality, don't think that you're going to be okay with losing loved ones. Okay, you will definitely feel sadness. You will definitely feel that grief inside you, because that is the truth in our life. But there are several things that we can do to handle this pain. Okay, there are several things that we can do to get up from this pain. It is not about how often you fall down. It is about how you stand up and how you bounce back from that difficult situation. So, one thing that we have to remember is that one advice that Buddha gave us is try to recall and try to reflect about the life, the truth in this life, that I'm going to lose every loving person around me. Now, this may seem scary to you because no one likes to think that they are going to lose the loved people, loving people, maybe their parents, maybe their husband and wife, children. No one likes to think about it. They're going to lose that person. But the reality is that one day we have to face that situation. No one can deny it. No one can deny the truth. Okay? So when you think about it and when you get ready for that situation, to make up your mind to face that situation with a strong mind, then it is very easy for you to ease the pain. It doesn't mean that you don't feel the pain. It means that it will help you to ease the pain and get out from it and get on with your life again. Okay? So the Buddha said, oftenly, this is one advice from the Buddha. The Buddha said, Sabbehi me piyehi manapehi nana bhavo vina bhavoti abhinnang pachavekitham. Oftenly reflect that I am going to lose loving people around me one day. Okay? When you know that, when you think about it in the correct way, you know that you don't have much time with these people. You have a little time with these people. In this human world, we have a little time, right? We don't have much time. So you know that if we were able to live like more than 90 years, okay, that is very lucky, that we are very lucky. So that is the thing. We have little time on this earth. Okay, we have little time with these people. In that little time, if we know that we are going to lose them, in that little time, we can cherish the memories, and we can be with them with. We can treat them kindly. We can treat them with compassion. Okay, and we can be a good person to them, be a good memory to them. So if you became a good memory to the people around you, then you don't have to worry about losing them. Why? Because you became a good person to them. Okay? You made them happy and you treated them kindly. That is what they need, and that's what people need. That's what people around us need from us. Okay? So in that little time we gave the best we can. Okay, so in that way you can be happy. Okay, although this person left me, although my parents died or left me, although my husband or wife, my children left me, I don't want to worry about it because I became a happy memory, a good memory to them. I treated them nicely and kindly while they were alive. Okay, by thinking that, you can be happy, but you get the chance to think about it only when you think about that you're going to lose them one day. Okay, so thinking about losing loved ones is not that negative. Okay, if you think it in a correct way. So if you have gotten ready for that, then you think like, oh, this is what I have expected, and I was expecting this. Okay, so in that way, remember, one day we all have to go through this situation. If we can make up our mind to be a good person and to be a good memory to them, then that is the best thing that you can do. And also remember one thing. Okay, there are people, loving people around you, and they became the source of happiness of yourself. And when they die, don't make them the source of your pain. Okay, if they see you that you're wailing and you're crying and you're lamenting and you're worrying about their death, they will not be happy. And also remember, the people who lived around you became the source of your happiness. So after their death, do not make them the source of your pain and agony. So keep them in your mind. So treat people nicely and kindly while they are alive, and then you can be happy with your life. Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to another video. Do you know how can we stop a war? Now, as there are a lot of wars going on this earth today, people get killed, people get abused, people get murdered, a lot of chaos happening on this earth. How can we stop a war? There is only one way to stop a war, and that is to forgive and letting go. Okay? There's no any other way. So many people try to stop a war, sometimes stop the problems and the anger, remove the anger by the anger. There's a nice verse and a wonderful verse that was taught by the Buddha. The Buddha said, Nahi vere na verani, sammanti the kudachana. The anger is never appeased by anger. You cannot stop anger through anger. Avere na cha sammanti esa dhammo sanattano. If you need to stop anger, if you need to stop hatred, if you need to stop a war, you need to stop the anger. You need to forgive and you need to let go. You know, the anger and the hate works like a cycle. Now, let's say one country is trying to dominate over another country. Okay? One country is trying to attack another country. What will happen? People in this country, they go to this country and they kill people. They attack people. They abuse people. And once they do that, what will happen? The hate and the anger builds in this community. Okay, so how they can remove their anger, how they try to take the revenge, they get into a group where they can revenge. So what they do is they get into an army, maybe a group of people who try to invade the other country, and they join to that army to take the revenge, and they go to this country and they kill these people in here, and they get killed, they get abused. Okay, and what happens then? The hate is building up in this world, this country, this community. And what happens after that? These people who left behind, they get into to a group of people who try to invade this country again, and they try to invade this country again, try to kill these people again. So this works like a cycle, and you will never be able to get out from that cycle if you did not choose to forgive. Okay, people think that you can end a war through a war, but it is not working in that way. You may be suppressing a war. Okay, you may be suppressing a country. Okay, you can keep a country under control and suppress those people for a little bit of time, maybe 10 years or 15 years. After 10 or 15 years, again, people who needs to take revenge, people who had that inner hate within them, they will come and they will attack the other country too. Okay, look at the history, just study his history. Not a single country has ever been benefited through war. Okay, that is why there's a saying like this: you can build the destructed buildings. When it comes to wars, buildings are being destroyed. You can build them, you can rebuild them. Okay, you can build the friendship between two nations after some times. You know, the people who became angry will be friends again. But there's one thing that you cannot do, and that is you cannot give life to the dead people who died from the war again. You will never be able to give the life back to them. Okay, that is why war is not a good thing for any country. War is not a good thing for this humanity. Okay? Somehow, if we need to stop the war, we need to forgive, we need to let go, even though it is difficult, even though it is hard. I know forgiving is not easy. It is really, really difficult. But if we need to stop the war, if we need to stop the anger, and if we need everyone to be happy, we have to let go. So remember, you will never be able to remove hate or remove anger through anger. By non-anger itself, you can remove the anger and you can be happy. Keep that in your mind. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to another video. Today, let's talk about war. Now, 2-3 months ago, we have seen a lot of things in this world that is happening, right? We have seen people get killed, people get murdered, nations destroyed. And there are a lot of things has happened, and it is happening even for today. So in this video, I'm not going to talk about who is wrong, okay? Because so many people are trying to justify each other and say that they are wrong and we are not wrong, okay? But they will never come to one conclusion, who is wrong, and they will never find it. Today, let's talk about why it is wrong. So what Buddha said about war. One thing that Buddha said about war, listen to this carefully. This is very wise. The Buddha said, Jayang verang pasavati, dukkhang seti parajayo, upasanto sukhang seti, hitva jaya parajayo. The victory gives rise to hate, and the defeated dwells in pain. Once you give up both victory and defeat, then you will be happy forever. That is what Buddha said. Now, what does it mean? When you try to win over someone, when you try to find that victory, it gives rise to hate. The defeated person will hate you. Okay? And the defeated person will dwell in pain forever. Okay? So you create, when you try to win over someone, when you try to win over a nation, what will happen? It gives rise to the hate. People will start to hate you. And also, you create the pain in this world. So what Buddha says is, give up both defeat and victory and focus on yourself. Focus on winning on yourself. Once you focus on yourself, you try to win your ego, win over your ego. You try to destroy your ego. The Buddha said this, more than fighting 1,000 battles, okay, more than doing 1,000 battles and winning 1,000 countries, the best thing that you can do is to win yourself, conquer yourself, and defeat your ego and that unwholesome things in your mind. When you focus into yourself and when you try to win yourself, you will never harm anyone and it will never give rise to hate. Okay? So in this world, people try to solve the problems through hate, through wars, through hurt and through pain. But it will never be solved. There is no any single problem that is solved by anger, by the pain, by hurt, by wars. Look at the world, okay? Throughout this human history, we have been through a lot of wars, but none of those wars have been solved through the war. The Buddha said, Nahi vere na verani sammanti da kudachana. Avere ne cha sammanti esa dhammo sanattano. The hatred will never cease by hatred. You cannot never end hatred. You will never be able to end hatred through hatred. Okay? You will never be able to end wars through wars. Okay? Avere na cha sammanti esa dhammo sanattano. If you need to solve a problem, if you need to end hatred, if you need to end a war, the only way that you can do is to not to do wars. not to hate each other, and by forgiving and by letting go. So if you need to solve any problems in this world that gives rise through hate, you need to let go, and you need to forgive. At any point in your life, you have to forgive if you need to solve these problems. And then you will find the peacefulness. Now, the Buddha said, if you need to end the hatred, you need to forgive. You need to let go. That is an eternal law in this world. So keep this in your mind. So let's wish to all the people who are suffering from wars and anger and hatred, may all of them be happy and peaceful forever. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to another video. Today it is raining and it is quite misty out here, and it is very peaceful. It is about rain. I have read this somewhere else. I cannot remember the quote. It says, rain feeds two types of people. Okay, rain is the food for two types of people. The first one is the meditator, and the second one is the lazy person. Okay, for a meditator, for a person who likes to meditate, rain is the best food and it is the best environment. Okay, and also for the lazy person, it is the best environment for him as well. Okay, so let's talk about the meditation today a little bit. So, what about the vipassana? How to practice it? Now, vipassana gives the meaning, the word gives the meaning that to see something clearly, to see something as it is. Okay, this practice was introduced by the Buddha himself. Okay, so how can we practice it? There's one verse that Buddha explains about the vipassana. It is very nice. And the Buddha says, Atitang nanva gameya napati kanke anagatang. That means, do not run into past and do not hope for the future. Yadatitang pahinatang apatang cha anagatang. What is past, it is gone. And what is future hasn't yet come. Okay. And then the Buddha said, Pachupannanchayo dhammang tattha tattha vipassati. Everything that occurs in this present moment are conditioned. Everything that we experience and we sense in this world are conditioned, that they arise due to conditions. Pachupannanchayo dhammang tattha tattha vipassati. You have to wisely reflect on all those things, all those sensations that occurs in this present moments, and wisely. Okay, that is about the vipassana. Vipassana is all about bringing your mind into this present moment and become the observer in it. Now, normally we react to everything that we sense. Okay, there are lots of sensations coming from this outer world, and what happens with us is we react to them always. Okay, either it is with the consciousness, we consciously react to something, and also sometimes unconsciously we react to certain things. Okay, so the Buddha said, be mindful about those sensations and do not react. Instead of reacting, try to observe it. Do not judge the thoughts, do not judge the feelings, be the observer. Okay, for an example, let's say you got blamed by someone. Okay, and you come home with this mind inside you, all those words inside you, all those insults inside you, and you come home and you sit on the bed, maybe lie down on the bed and look at the ceiling, and you start to worry. Okay, but the reality, let's take the reality of this situation. Okay, now let's say someone is insulting you. When someone insults you, you hear that sound in that moment, in the present moment. As soon as that person finished insulting you, everything that he has spoken is gone. Isn't that true?
What you heard, what you heard is gone. Now, what I have spoken before in the beginning of this video is gone now. It's finished. Okay, it has vanished. But deep in our mind, we recreate all those sensations, or we recreate all those emotions and feelings and all those words in our mind, and we start to worry about it. Sometimes we start to be happy about certain things. If that makes you happy, we start to be happy about it. Isn't that true? That is the thing. So, what Buddha said is, be mindful about it. Just observe it. Do not try to react to your thoughts. Okay. When the happiness comes in, we don't try to suppress our thoughts. And also, we don't try to express our thoughts. What we can do is we can be in the middle and we can observe the thoughts. Okay. When happiness comes in, we let that comes in. We let that come in and we become the observer. Do not react. Not reacting. Just see it arise and see it pass away. Okay, it is something that you watch a traffic by the side of the road. You sit down the side of the road and you watch the traffic. You watch the vehicles pass by. You don't try to stop the vehicles. You don't try to run behind the vehicles. We just try to observe it. We just try to notice it. And we see these vehicles come into our field of vision and it goes away. And you start to realize that every sensation, when you observe your feelings, when you observe all the sensations that happens within you, you start to feel that nothing stays forever. It is impermanent. It has the nature of arising and it has the nature of passing away. Every sensation, everything that we feel in, and everything that we feel in our world is impermanent. So that is what about the vipassana. When you practice that, you can go into a silent place, maybe sit down on a chair, maybe sit down on the floor and close your eyes. And slowly, you can observe what comes into your mind. Okay. And be the observer. Do not try to react with them. Okay. When you see happiness come in, you see that happiness come in and you observe it and it goes away. When you see that sad thoughts come in, you feel that and you observe it and you let it go. That is how you become mindful and when you practice vipassana. When you do that, you start to realize that one thing in every aspect and every sensation in your life, and that is impermanence. Once you realize this nature of impermanence, that is what you call the realization of truth. Okay, so keep that in your mind and practice it. Namo Buddhaya.